This is TV47 Weekend with yours truly, Karen Karimi. Welcome to the program. Thank you for tuning in, and we do hope you had a fantastic weekend. Tonight, a lot lined up for you this Sunday, including the Queen's coffin arrived at the Palace of Holy Roadhouse in Edinburgh on the first leg of the Monarchs' 8-day final journey. And in sports, the National Rugby Sevens team Shujaa finished 12th in the Rugby World Cup after losing to USA. More details shortly in the highlights tonight. Tonight, President-elect William Ruto promises to deal with cartels.
Kwa kweli, tuko na shida kubwa ya deni.
Promises a raft of new measures to cushion Kenyans from the high cost of living as part of a plan to run an efficient government. Also tonight, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance moves to assuage supporters on the situation surrounding alleged failure to pay election agents. Plus, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja promises to hit the ground running and fix the county's healthcare system.
You've seen the state of things. You know, we're finding mothers sharing beds after giving birth. There's a lady we found who had just given birth and she's sitting on a bench. We're out of capacity here. There's need for expansion and need for our other facilities to be working.
Welcome to the program. Mini Mbesa is our sign language interpreter tonight. Now, President-elect Dr. William Ruto has issued a notice to all cartels in the country, stating that his gloves will be off after Tuesday's swearing in, as he aims at restoring sanctity in the government agencies. Our reporter Willie Dennis Njiru with this story.
Tulipiga kura 79% because of these bishops. And
speaking at a Thanksgiving service at Maua Stadium in Meru County, President-elect Dr. William Ruto has categorically stated his will to caution Kenyans from the high cost of living, with his first assignment being reduction of maize flour and fertilizer prices.
Kwa kweli, tuko na shida kubwa ya deni na uchumi wetu hauko na wakati walitueleza vile mambo yalivyo na tukawaambia kuna msemo wa Kiingereza unaosema if yourself in a hole, stop digging. Ukijipata huko kwa shimo, wacha kuendelea kuchimba. Simamisha kwanza kuchimba ndio ufikirie vile utatoka.
His finger pointing to those who have been evading to pay taxes to the government to enhance service delivery, even as he plans to meet the Somali president on bilateral talks, especially to discuss the county's mirror exports.
Niko na mkutano na rais Somalia wiki hii. Hali ya mambo tunazungumza ni biashara yenu ya miraa.
Ruto, who was accompanied by his deputy Rigathi Gachagua and a battery of Mount Kenya East leaders, quantified his triumph as God's own as he went against all odds to clinch victory.
Opinion poll ilikuwa inatengenezwa ya kutupinga. Tukaambiwa hakuna rais amechaguliwa akiwa amejaribu mara ya kwanza. Hapa tukaambiwa.
Now, after reports emerged that some members of the Azimio Secretariat didn't hire agents to oversee the just concluded presidential election, Raila Odinga's Presidential Campaign Secretariat spokesperson Professor Makau Mutua has condemned the allegations spreading in social media targeted at the officials of the party. Now, according to a statement released by Professor Makau Mutua, the issue of agents assigned to oversee different polling stations during the August 9th general election has been misunderstood and it's being used maliciously by their opponents. Mutua says that the issue was managed by a dedicated and hardworking team and that the staff largely did a good job for the Azimio party. Professor Mutua further in the release said that the information spreading online is purely propaganda, adding that Honorable Mohammed was a campaign lead in the field supporting Honorable Raila Odinga and he had no time even once handled funds meant for agents. The Raila Odinga Presidential Campaign Secretariat spokesperson has called on those spreading such information to cease and desist going forward. He asked Kenyans to go back to the business of protecting the country's democracy. Now, away from that, preparations for the swearing-in ceremony for President-elect William Ruto have reached 90% at Moi International Sports Centre Kasarani here in Nairobi. The transition committee, led by Chief of Public Service Joseph Kenywa, has said it has placed strategies to accommodate more than 60,000 Kenyans set to attend the event by erecting more tents outside the stadium to cater for a possible overflow. Mike Agwongo with the details.
When going to Kasarani through Thika Superhighway, one notices that flags have been flown to signify the significance of the government transition ceremony on Tuesday this week. And in Kasarani Stadium, preparations are in top gear before Tuesday D-Day. The stadium has been cleaned and given a new look in an effort to impress the guests invited and Kenyans who will attend the event. Both local and foreign artists are also sharpening their edges to ensure availability of great sound and perfect moves before Tuesday. By 8 a.m. on Tuesday, Kenyans and invited guests should have arrived and taken their seats before the ceremony officially starts at 10 a.m.
People are required to arrive very early. By 8, people should have arrived because, the function itself seated, because the function itself will start at 10. And to enable and ensure everything moves as per the schedule, constitutionally, we are even limited. We cannot go beyond 2 p.m.
The Transition Committee's chairman, Joseph Kenywa, says they have put up enough measures to ensure that Kenyans who will arrive and find the stadium full will be directed to a section where they will follow the activities through television.
We have facilities that will be put outside the main field from where they can be able to see what is going on. Others will be able to view from their counties and homes from the television. United States of America President Joe Biden has unveiled a delegation of 4 who are scheduled to attend President-elect William Ruto's swearing-in ceremony. President Biden said United States Trade Representative Catherine Tai will lead the delegation. The members of the presidential delegation include United States Ambassador to the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Meg Whitman, United States Representative D. Texas, Honorable Colin Allred, Assistant Secretary of State for the Bureau of African Affairs, U.S. Department of State, the Honorable Mercy Catherine Fee, and Assistant Administrator for the Bureau of Africa U.S. Agency for International Development, Dr. Monde Muyangwa. A total of 20 presidents and government leaders in Africa have confirmed to attend the event. It is an event that is supposed to have been over before 2 p.m. in the afternoon, in accordance with the Constitution, to allocate time for speeches. Our security people who manage the traffic are making all the necessary arrangements to ensure that even if we have any hiccups, they are minimized.
President Kenyatta is to be given a 21-gun salute farewell by the Defense Forces as they welcome the new President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. More than 90% of preparations here in Kasarani are over, and more than 60,000 Kenyans will be expected to be seated by 8 a.m. on Tuesday to begin the function at 10 a.m. That will be the next 5th President of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto, being sworn in before 2 p.m. Mike Kagwongo, TV 47 at Kasarani Stadium in Nairobi.
Thank you, Mike, for that report. Now, Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua, former Madeira Member of Parliament in the next few hours, is going to be second most powerful man in the Republic of Kenya and most probably the next most influential leader from the mountain. But some things are not set to change. Our very own William set on a journey to visit the home village of Deputy President-elect and talked to a number of residents of Hiriga village who they say Rigathi will only remain to be their son in their eyes despite the power that comes with his new position.
Though he was known as a member of parliament for Madeira, the country came to know the better part of him after President-elect William Ruto declared him his running mate during the 2022 election campaigns. Known for his explosive remarks that at times led to a backlash, Rigathi Gachagua is set to be the next deputy president of the republic after his swearing in on Tuesday. Gachagua was a member of parliament representing the people of Madeira in the 12th parliament for 5 years. Unknown to the public, his influence turned out to be much greater than expected. Might he be the next kingpin of Mount Kenya? Well, only time will tell. Enough said, but who is Rigathi Gachagua in the eyes of where he hails from? To get that question answered, we set out on a 2-hour drive from Nairobi to Nyeri County, Madeira constituency. Welcome to Hiriga village, little known to many, and this is where the second most powerful man as from Tuesday hails from. Our first stop was at the home of his elder brother Jackson Ririani, where we were warmly received. Ririani is the only surviving brother to Rigathi. To start our conversation off, Ririani mentioned that his younger brother grew up like any other Kenyan child. Rigathi being the 8th born in a family of 9 children, born to Nahashon Gachagua Ririani and mother Kirigo.
Our parents were not rich. We grew working very hard to sustain, because obviously our father could not afford to employ a lot of people. So we were the labor.
Ririani, to him Rigathi becoming the second in command is not a surprise, to him saying leadership qualities were portrayed at an early stage.
I remember well, we had quite a few incidents where, in those days, children would arrange fights, mock fights or whatever it is. And he was quite involved in those quite a bit. And where if he does not come out top, he would not rest at all. He would feel very uncomfortable. He would be very uncomfortable, if you like.
The 57-year-old Rigathi has so far worked as an aide in ministries and the president's office, then as a district officer before becoming an MP in 2017. To Ririani, the Rigathi we know lately is because of education their parents endeavored to provide them despite growing in a humble setting.
I think that made Rigathi and all of us like that is that you don't want to stay here. You want to go to school so that you can get out of this poverty situation, whereby sometimes we have no food, whereby sometimes we are sent away from school.
Ririani's sentiments are backed up by village mates. A few meters from his home is the small quiet shopping center that looks almost deserted with minimal activities taking place. Hiriga Shopping Center, and we bumped into one Mr. James Gitonga.
Hata ukimwangalia miguu yake alikuwa amekulwa na nini, na hii kitu tunaita nini, hii dutu hii kwa kini tunaita nini, jiga. Anakulwa ni jiga kama sisi. Alikuwa mtu wa kawaida kama sisi. Tunaenda kuchimba naye mtaro wao iko hapa, tunaenda kuchimba na yeye. Alikuwa mtu wa kawaida.
Going on with our chat with Gitonga, he reminisces the old times, recalling Gachagua the trainer who took time to train his village mates to play volleyball.
Watu wanacha ingine inaitwa 6 tuseme watu 3 wakakaa nyuma, yeye akakaa pale mbele, akakuwa booster. Alikuwa booster kali sana. Hata wakati wa watu wa mikodi wanakuja, sisi ndio tunapea nafasi ya kuongea na hawa watu, kwa sababu watu wa mikodi walikuwa naleta shida sometimes, tukiwa shida tukapatia Rigathi hiyo nafasi ya aongea na hawa.
Our visit to Hiriga did not end without a visit to where the young Rigathi undertook his primary education. 4 kilometers from his home is Kabiroine Primary School, where he attended his primary education from 1971 to 1977 before proceeding for his secondary education in Kirinyaga County, Kenyaga Boys High School. Meeting up with his classmate and deskmate Miriam Maina, she had a lot in store on the conduct of Rigathi during his early years, recalling of the bright learner he was.
Mheshimiwa Rigathi alikuwa mwerevu sana kwa masomo. Kwanza hesabu, tuseme hesabu na Kiingereza alikuwa anakuja namba moja. Tuseme almost all subjects alikuwa namba moja. Na alikuwa anasaidia watoto wale wengine hawaelewi vizuri. Kwanza alikuwa anatoka bali Hiriga. Kwao ni Hiriga. Na Hiriga kufika Kabiroine ni almost 4 to 5 kilometers. Na alikuwa anafika mapema hata kutuchinda. Sisi tunatoka karibu.
In our talk with all the persons we met, one will not miss to notice a consistent and constant comment about Rigathi Gachagua, who has not only been their son but also a leader.
Rigathi mimi tangu nimjue ni mtu wa kufanya kazi na ni mtu anapenda kitu anataka itimike, hiyo itatimika.
We could clearly see he's going places. He's going places. If you like, it's an example of that he became the MP of this area. He became MP of Madera in the first attempt.
Kama mtu wa maana kwa sisi, sababu samani tulikuwa watu marginalized sana Madera hii, lakini tangu saa ile aliingia hapa maendeleo tumeona yake mingi.
Tumepata kiongozi na najua hata uchumi itainuka, watu watafurahia.
Rigathi is a brother to the first governor of Nyeri, the late Nderito Gachagua. It is from this little-known village of Hiriga that Deputy President-elect Rigathi Gachagua hails from. Rigathi Gachagua will be serving as the Deputy Principal to President-elect William Samuel Ruto. Mwege William, TV47 from Hiriga village, Nyeri County.
Moving on, a section of members of the County Assembly of Kakamega have vowed to ensure that the new government works hard to deliver quality services to the residents of the county. The leaders said their role is to oversee and check on the governor's leadership in the next 5 years. Now, led by Esume, a member of County Assembly, Boniface Akosi, leaders urged the governor to ensure Governor Fernandez Baraza delivers on his promises by working on the poor health facilities, poor infrastructure, among other pending projects.
Kwanza kabisa tumeashiria uongozi wa walio wachache kwenye bunge, na mimi nasimama mbele yenu kama kiongozi wa wachache kwenye bunge ambaye amechaguliwa na wale wenye mrengo wa wachache kwenye bunge. Tutamuunga kwa yale ambayo atafanya, mipango yake yote, yale ambayo itakuwa ni ya kusaidia wananchi wa Kenya na hasa mno wananchi wa Kakamega. Na kama kwa ratiba yake pia tutaona yale yenye ambayo anataka kugandamiza watu wetu, tutakuwa mstari wa mbele kuyasema.
Tutafanya kazi kulingana vile tulichaguliwa. Tuko na uhakika kwamba gavana ambaye amechaguliwa akifanya kazi na sisi pamoja, hatutakuwa na wasiwasi wowote.
Na tungependa kuhakikishia wananchi ya kwamba sisi tutachukua nafasi yetu katika bunge hili. Tutahakikisha ya kwamba zile fedha zinaletwa hapo kutoka national government zinatumika kwa njia mzuri. Na vile vile ningependa kutoa mwito kwa governor mteule ya kwamba tunataka equity in development.
Kama sisi watu wa Malava, ningependa kuambia Fernandez Baraza, tafadhali tufanye kazi pamoja, ingawaje tuko kwa mrengo mwingine.
ODM Deputy Party Leader and outgoing Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya has taken a swipe at Azimio leaders trooping to Kenya Kwanza, terming the move as an electoral fraud. Addressing the press in his Likuyani home, Oparanya said they have accepted the outcome of the last general election and are ready to take up the opposition role and put the government of the day on toes to implement promises they made to Kenyans. Now, he asked the president-elect to stop enticing Azimio leaders with promises so as to ditch the opposition for Kenya Kwanza, saying the move amounts to returning the country to a one-party rule era. Oparanya also said opposition should be properly recognized and funded by the government as one way of ensuring that the country has a formidable opposition to ensure checks and balances in the structures of the government.
To Kenya Kwanza. This is very unfortunate, and if they are being enticed to move, this is an election fraud. We call it an election fraud. Because you cannot be talking about Azimio just a week ago and then thereafter you move to Kenya Kwanza because maybe you want favors. Those are the leaders, I would say, cheap leaders, because Kenya is a multi-party and we must respect that. We don't want to go to again return to the KANU days, where we used to have one party dominated the political scene of the country. We must have a strong opposition that will oversight the ruling party, and there are promises that were made during the campaign. The ruling party made promises through their manifesto, through the pronouncement by their leaders, and we are looking forward to making sure that they keep the promise and deliver on what they promised wananchi. But for me as a person, I will stick in the opposition. I've been given a chance to stay in opposition. Unfortunately, I've never been in government since I joined politics, and I've performed. So why would I be worried that now I'm in opposition? This is not the first time, but I've performed as a governor, whether I was in opposition or not. But I was in opposition, and the people have recognized my role here in Kakamega, what I did. Those are some of the things that we are going to discuss, whether to come up with a shadow cabinet or not, and whether the office of the leader of opposition should be properly recognized. And this is what we had proposed in the BBI, that the leader of opposition must be recognized and that office must be funded by the government so that there is proper checks and balances within the governing structure of the country. BAMBA, we talked even this morning, he has decided to take a break. He's out of the country for nearly 4 or 5 days, just to rest, and he will be back, to lead his troops.
Now, residents of Wajir town now want the county leadership to adopt policies and laws that will curb prostitution in the town. This is as a result on an influx in women involved in the business that is not only outlawed by the Muslim religion, but also the culture. Hashim Jamal reports from Wajir.
Wajir County is among the towns that are growing fast thanks to devolution. Wajir is predominantly inhabited by the Somali community. However, a few Kenyans moved to the county in search of work. As the sun sets, residents here close their businesses with the call for prayer. This is a signal that everybody should retire for the day. But to some, this is the start of their business. Section 153, 154, 155, 156, 157, and 183 of the Penal Code criminalizes prostitution, and anyone found culpable is punishable to a jail term of 3 years. Commercial sex workers in Wajir are stigmatized with the members of the society, labeling them evil. For decades, this business has fed hundreds of women who earn their living from entertaining men. Following months of investigations, we go behind the lens. Fatima, not her real name, now 8 months pregnant, is among many women who are into the business.
A friend of mine introduced to me this business. I had a relationship which never went smooth. I was impregnated here in this junction. It was my turning point to join officially as a prostitute. For now, it's almost 3 years. It's a friend who influenced me a lot through this journey. I faced a lot of challenges, including family rejection. Later, when mom saw my pain, I was told to stop and deliver at home, despite stigmatized. In this trade, Whenever I offer my services, I'm paid 3,000 to 6,000, as my customers are all types, mostly Somalis. There are many Somali prostitution there on street. Most of them engage also in drug abuse. They are toiling in the street, some using link up through telephone. Even sometimes they are beaten up by clients. School-going girls are also in these cobwebs of illicit sex trade due to poverty. They are seeking money. Some lured individuals either love or fake promises.
Billy, not her real name, is among the girls who were pushed into the business by poverty.
Nyumbani, mimi ndiye msaidizi wa pale nyumbani, mimi ndio kila kitu. Familia haina uwezo, mama ananiangalia, familia inaniangalia. Pia niko na watoto. Ndio ilisababisha niingie kwa hii kazi. Pale kwa hii kazi utapatana na mwanaume. Sengine ile mwanaume atakudharau, amekulipa pesa, aanze kukuitisha ile pesa. Na kama hapa Wajir ukienda hata station umenyang'anywa ile pesa, uende uite askari. Hakuna haki.
Many commercial sex workers here have been victimized and stigmatized by the society. Also, accessing health services has been the biggest challenge, and they are now appealing to the Wajir County government to intervene. With the emergence of the new technology, the commercial sex workers have not been left behind. They say they have embraced technology as it enables them link up with their clients easily, unlike in the earlier days where they used to queue in the streets in search of customers. However, there is a big question of HIV and AIDS transmission, and they had this to say.
Tamrudishia kidogo tu, nimwambie tutumie yenye inakubalika sindi. Kama utaki sindi tutumie tu. Mimi nikurudishia kani 15 ndio alafu nipaki na 1500.
In 2018, the County Assembly of Wajir passed a motion that prohibits commercial sex workers from operating in the county and shut down all bars operating in Wajir town. However, the commercial sex workers have called on an alternative resolutions to empower them, saying they are ready to quit the business. Following months of investigation, TV47 witnessed various ways this sex trade is practiced, from digital connect, open hand agreement, job recruitment deals, and luring young girls with gifts. Hashim Jimal reporting for TV47, Wajir County.
Now, away from home, Queen Elizabeth II's final journey began Sunday with thousands of mourners lined up to pay their tribute. The Queen's coffin was driven through Aberdeen in northern Scotland to Edinburgh, passing through the village of Ballater, where crowds stood in silence as a mark of respect for the late Queen. Andreen Kilemi now reports.
A hearse carrying Queen Elizabeth's body in an oak coffin emerged from the gates of Balmoral Castle, where she had been laying since her death occurred Thursday. This an indication of the Queen's final journey after 70 years of sitting on the throne. Her coffin, draped in the Royal Standard of Scotland, was lifted onto a hearse by 6 of the estate's gamekeepers and left Balmoral 10 a.m. Sunday, bound for Edinburgh. Their convoy, led by a police motorcycle rider, travelled through Banchory, passing through the village of Ballater, where crowds stood in silence as a mark of respect for the late Queen. Those wishing to leave flowers were asked to do so at designated areas along the route as the convoy made its 100 miles journey. On Monday, there will be a procession from the palace to St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh, where the coffin will stay for 24 hours to allow people to pay their respects. On Tuesday, the Queen's coffin will be transported by road from the cathedral to Edinburgh Airport and then flown to RAF North Holt before going to Buckingham Palace. The procession of the Queen's coffin is expected to include members of the royal family as they await to lay her body to rest on Monday the 19th. Andreen Kilemi, TV 47.
And back home, Baragoi Boys in Baragoi Town, Samburu County, has been reopened for learners to resume learning. The school had been closed indefinitely in July after a teacher was shot dead by bandits. Sharon Baranga has that report.
After close to 3 months of learners of Baragoi High School staying away from the learning institution, the gates to the school have been opened and learners are encouraged to report to school so that they can pick up their lessons from where they left in July 2022. The school was closed indefinitely after an English and literature teacher, Cyrus James Karukura, who was on his way to seek treatment, was shot by bandits a few meters from the school gate. The county's leadership, the administration of the school, as well as parents and residents of Baragoi town, organized for a prayer session as the school prepares to resume learning.
Baba, kwa jina la Yesu, madhabahu ambayo imekuwa ikiitisha damu isiyokuwa na hatia, leo tunasema nyamaza. Leo tumewainamisha wakakosa kibali kwa jina la Yesu.
Na mjue hii mchanga haitashiba damu. Sisi wanadamu ndio tutakataa damu kumwagika kwa hii mchanga.
By the end of last week, 122 learners out of 133 had gone back to school. The rest are expected to report to school this week.
Ili watoto ya Turkana, Samburu, Pokot wasome pamoja, walale pamoja, wacheze mpira pamoja. So, shule ni mahali ya kuunganisha watu. Baragoi High School, Turkana wanalala dormitory moja, Samburu dormitory nyingine. Kama ni kweli ni aibu mbaya sana. Aibu. Watoto lazima wasome, wacheze pamoja, wakule pamoja. Kesho wakiwa wakubwa, wanasema hiyo rafiki yangu ni Pokot moja, tulisoma pamoja na yeye. Turkana moja rafiki yangu number 1. Si ndio?
Hakikisha hakuna mtoto Mturkana, hakuna mtoto Msamburu atayemwaga tena damu ya Baragoi. Na tumekuja kuomba kwa kama serikali yenu ya county, tutatembea na nyinyi kila siku, tutaongea, tutashirikiana, tuhakikishe kuwa tumesimamisha vita katika Baragoi. Tutasimamisha vita kuwa ukiingia gari Baragoi kwenda Maralal, unajua unaenda salama na unarudi salimini. Hiyo ndio tunataka kufanya hapa. Viongozi wa kanisa na viongozi ya wasee, warani wa Turkana, warani wa Samburu, kuwa kwa wiki mbili tutakuja kufanya mkutano kwa Waturkana huko na warani yao na wasee yao, tukiwa na wasee wa Samburu na warani wa Samburu.
Security has been beefed up at the school. The area in Baragoi has been experiencing a spate of attacks from bandits. Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
You're watching TV 47 Weekend. You can watch us live on Facebook and Twitter on TV 47 Kenya. Time for a short break. We will be back with more stories and the latest in sports.
TV 47, the home of untold stories.
At Streisand School of Medical Health Science and Technology, we prepare the change makers of tomorrow by training them in theater technology, medical engineering, science laboratory and health records, applied biology, environmental health science, nutrition and dietetics, ICT, counseling psychology, and many more. Enroll with us today and take a certificate or diploma course. Visit our campuses in Juja, Nairobi West, Kisumu, and Homa Bay and get your career going.
Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
Do you aspire to acquire knowledge and skills relevant to the job market and entrepreneurship? Join us at KIPS Technical College, one of the largest NEC examination centers in Kenya and the premier tertiary institution established and mandated to operate by TVET Authority. We lead when it comes to offering high-quality technical and professional training and bringing out the best in our students. Our ultra-modern learning facilities, highly qualified and experienced lecturers, attachment liaison office, counseling office make us the preferred choice. Limited HELB loans are available to students. Our intake is ongoing for full-time, evening and online classes. Join us today and experience the KIPS difference. KIPS Technical College, your sure path to success.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back to the program. Now, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja made an impromptu visit at the Mama Lucy Hospital following the mysterious death of a woman who gave birth at the facility. Sakaja has blamed the ailing health status of Nairobi at the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, that's the NMS. The story was produced by Andrew Juma.
Sunday afternoon, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja made an impromptu visit at the Mama Lucy Hospital shortly after attending a church service at AIC Church in Pipeline. His visit coming days after TV47 highlighted the ailing situation at the facility.
And you've seen the state of things. You know, we are finding mothers sharing beds after giving birth. There's a lady we found who had just given birth and she's sitting on a bench. We're out of capacity here. There's need for expansion and need for our other facilities to be working. If we fully, equip and revive the one in Kariobangi, we'll reduce the pressure here.
On Thursday, a family was crying for justice after a woman passed on in unclear circumstances after giving birth to twins. The family claims that the lady died bleeding profusely.
At that moment, hakuna mtu yote, daktari wanatembea tu, hakuna mtu anashughulika, hakuna mtu anakuja kuongelesha.
Nadhani kama umekuja kuzaa ni death na life. Unafaa uangalie mwenye anapeana life. Wao watoto wamebaki bila mama.
The county boss blaming the Nairobi Metropolitan Service NMS for the mess in the health sector in the county.
I have to take the responsibility of what is not happening here. So it is my shortcoming. I'm the one who should do better, and I'm the one who's going to do better in terms of healthcare in Nairobi.
Sakaja accused NMS for what he termed as misusing public funds which were made for the facility, leading to poor quality services at the hospital.
We must do our best to protect life and to give the people of Nairobi the service that they deserve. I want to give that assurance that I will not rest until that is done. So, because when I've come, there's been a huge group, I'll devise another way of doing it, but we've gotten the information. We need to hire more nurses, more medical staff here. We need more beds. We need to expand it. We need all these 24 facilities that were done by NMS to be operational. You know, you find somebody has been told to get some dawa, and the dawa is not here. They're told to go get it elsewhere. Yet it's medicine that is used frequently, you know.
Responding on the issue, the Nairobi County boss ordered all patients with pending bills to be released, saying his office will clear the bills.
There are people who are having problems with NHIF. The system is down today. There are those who have been discharged and are not able to go. I have ordered that they all be released from the hospital. That they all go, we'll get the account of how many there are, I will pay for them. Those who have been just taken, because we need to decongest the hospital.
Sakaja, however, vowed to revive the facility, urging members of Nairobi County Assembly to take the same initiative in ensuring no one is left behind in terms of service delivery in the city.
You know, as we say, bottom up for a reason. What they tell you at the top is not kwa ground vitu ni tofauti. So of course the reports are very rosy, but when you come here, no one spoke about 5 people in a bed. 6 children in an incubator that's supposed to be for 1 child. All of those were not, properly reported to us. So it's good for us to see ourselves with our own eyes, to hear from especially the junior staff, whose reports never get there. And I've told them they'll be sending me directly what's happening. Because even these nurses and doctors and our junior staff here, they care for these people. They want to serve them, they want to help them. But they've not been given what it takes to help them.
Joash Onsare, TV 47, Nairobi.
Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaro, after making an impromptu visit to Kilifi County Referral Hospital, has said the issue of patients sharing beds in public hospitals in Kilifi County is greatly contributing to the ailing of the health sector in that county. Accompanied by the hospital medical superintendent, Job Gayo, Governor Mungaro said that his administration will address the shortcomings by providing enough drugs and equipment. He also said that poor patients with medical bills will be discharged after thorough scrutiny of their family background.
Kwa vitanda viwili, sio kwamba ni jambo ambalo tunapendelea liwe hivyo, ila ni kwamba hatuwezi kumregesha mgonjwa nyumbani na anahitaji ya kulazwa hospitali. Sasa kitu ambacho kinafanyika ni kwamba ikibidi basi hata kama ni vovote vile inabidi wakae wawili kwa vitanda. Suluhisho ni kuongeza mawodi ili kila mmoja apate kitanda chake. Pili, swala la vitabu na kukosa ile tunasema kwamba makaratasi, yani paper based system ya hospitali. Suluhisho ni kwamba tuweze kupata kitu tunaita EMR ambayo ni digital system, ili mgonjwa akija hospitali ni kutoa tu namba yake na zile tarakilishi na record zake zinaonekana. Hakuna tena kubeba makaratasi. Sasa vitu kama EMR ndio vitu ambavyo tunafaa kuleta kwa hospitali hii, na najua itaboresha afya, na zaidi tuko na governor hapa ameona hitaji, na ninaamini ya kwamba hivi vitu vitapewa kipaumbele.
Kubwa tumeona matatizo ni masuala ya vifaa kwa hospitali. Mambo ya CT scan, mambo ya vifaa vidogo ambavyo vinahitajika, mambo ya ICU. Hii hospitali mnajua ni ya zamani sana. Na congestion, kwamba vitanda watu wanalala wawili. So nyinyi mtupatie muda kama tulivyoahidi. Nafikiri niliahidi kwamba baada ya siku 100 kila hospitali itakuwa na dawa. Na mmeona Malindi tulilipa pesa kwa KEMSA kama wiki iliyopita, na dawa zimeanza kuja hapa, zitaenda mashinani kama tulivyoahidi. Baada ya siku 100 za kwanza kila hospitali itakuwa na dawa. Zile ambazo hakuna tutaanza kuchukua rekodi, tuone ni dawa gani hakuna ambazo zinaambiwa hizo specialized medicine kama diabetics na zingine pia zipatikane. Kama haziko KEMSA tutanunua mahali nyingine. Kwa hivyo nataka niwahakikishie tu kwamba tutabadilisha mambo ya hospitali hii Kilifi County.
Mukuru Kwanjenga residents are now pleading with the newly formed government to resettle the residents after massive demolitions by the outgoing government. The affected, who lost their belongings during the demolitions, have been living in makeshift tents, grappling with hunger and diseases. Now, an interfaith organization consisting of all religions in the area has been working through a psychosocial program to support the affected residents as they wait for a solution to the affected people.
I think and I pray our president, who is hustler, and the governor, to our MCA, they will not let us down. We voted for them overwhelmingly. We dedicated and campaigned for them to change. My plea to the president and the governor, please let the first action you take in Nairobi be Mukuru is the first.
Wakati kotini aliamua, wakati watu yake walienda Karen, rais yetu alisema mafasi yake yote amemwambia sio nyinyi amenichagua, Mungu ndio alinichagua. Kwa hivyo neno tuko nayo hiyo neno yako. Kama Mungu amekuchagua na sisi ni raia yetu ya wananchi ya Mukuru kwa jenga, na tuko yatima na tumebomolewa na wanaume ambaye wanaenda na bajero. Kama we ni president, mimi nasema siku ya kwanza ukiabishwa Jumanne, ajenda yako ya kwanza iwe Mukuru kwa jenga. Watoto ni yatima, wamama hawana bana.
Saa hii kuishi maisha ni shinda, hata hii mkutano imesaidia sana juu masaa ya laji imeruka tukiwa huku. Juu wewe ukawa utakaa kwa nyumba utakula nini? Wajukuu wako pale wanakulilia, wale watoto yako wako pale wanakulilia.
Igilia hii kitu kati once and for all. Bring a long lasting resolution. Vile mlifanya Waitiki hata hapa Mukuru kwa jenga, ni nyinyi mlifanya na Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta mambo ya Waitiki, Kehio Mwele mlifanya the same. Tafadhalini ingilieni hii mambo ya Mukuru.
Now, elders of Kakamega from Kiambu County have conducted a sacrificial ceremony to restore harmony and unity and among themselves to exclude enmity that was displayed in public during the campaign period of the 2022 general elections. Now, led by Kakamega Secretary General Shamte Munywa said Kenyans expressed their will on 9th of August when they voted in for their leaders, adding that they have embraced the Supreme Court ruling that upheld the declaration of William Ruto as the duly elected president. Speaking in Kiambu County, elders reiterated that they will uphold the honor of respect to the outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta as the kingpin of the Kikuyu, where they conducted prayer ceremony for Dr. William Ruto to receive God's power to enable him to fulfill the promises he gave during the campaign period.
Sasa Wakikuyu wenyewe wamejua hawa wazee ndio walikuwa wanaongea ukweli, hawa wengine walikuwa wanatembea ile njia ambayo sio ya ukweli. Lakini sasa tumemaliza, tumesema ushindi ni wetu sisi wote, kwa hivyo ni turudi kwa nyumba moja ili tuweze kupeleka jamii yetu mbele. Kuanzia leo tumejifunga ili tutakuwa tunaenda maombi ya kuomba ili tuwapeane kwa Mwenyezi Mungu wakiwa na deputy president, ili Mungu aweze kuwabariki na pia wabarikiwe na jamii ya Wakikuyu, ili wakitembea watembee pamoja na Mungu na watembee na jamii yetu.
Kama wazee tulikuwa tuna misimamo tofauti kulingana na wale ambao watu walikuwa wanatuuzia sera, lakini sisi tunaamini ya kwamba wakati serikali imeingia, hizo tofauti zote tunaachana nazo, tunafanya kazi, tunafuata ile serikali ambayo iko kwa kiti, tunasema any government in power.
Now, as one way of dealing with change in climate, KALRO, a research organization in Alupe, Busia County, has come up with a project that will enable it in value-added seeds that will withstand the change in climate in the western part of Kenya. This will help farmers plan in advance. Now, according to Lynette Nashiroli Navangi, the officer in charge, the research organization has been mandated to come up with the seeds so that farmers may grow enough food and, as a result, also generate more income.
There are some enterprises that we were given or were selected for this region, and that is soybean production, sorghum production, cassava production, sweet potato production, and fruit trees, and also groundnuts. Because this area of Busia, these are some of the crops that are grown in plenty.
This seed actually we are planting it for promotion of clean planting material for our farmers. Also as an income generation for cargo centers for sustainability.
We are focused on producing certified seed that have undergone through research, and now it has reached a place whereby it has been released to the farmers to plant. Most of them lacked awareness. So what we have done is to go out there and do sensitization. So most farmers are now aware that we have improved variety.